great pleasure to do this in 1993, 30 years plus. We did it in beautiful Northridge, California, with a great cast and a great director, and to work with people like Kirk Douglas was such a treat for all of us, because he was old Hollywood, we were kind of newish Hollywood, but it was an incredible kind of a summer camp experience together. We had a ball doing it. We'll have a Q&A afterwards. I'll answer all your questions, but watch and enjoy, please. A wonderful movie called Greedy.
Thank you. Well, that was a lot funnier than I remember. I didn't dislike it. I didn't think it was unfunny when I saw it. But man, I saw it in '94 after it came out. We shot it in '93, as I said earlier, and we had a great time doing it. But the physical comedy was as good as anything I've seen in a while. Very good sight gags, you know, the fights and stuff. I thought it was very well staged by Jonathan Lynn, wonderful director. Who here? Big hand.
My Cousin Vinny.
Who's seen My Cousin Vinny? Yeah. Who's seen Nuns on the Run? Funny movie. He's a very funny man. I've known him a while.
Well, I forgot my notes. Remind me to take it out on, what's her name? I left them in my jacket over there, but that's about all right. Well, this was pretty fun watching it with an audience, right? Getting to hear all the laughter with all the jokes.
And I can promise you, I've not seen it since it came out. I remember the basic plot of the movie, of course. I remember some scenes from the movie. And I read the script many times and shot all the scenes that I was in, of course. I was there for all that and remember that. But a lot of stuff I didn't remember at all. It's very, very funny. It works very well.
Oh, definitely. How did you first come onto the project? You hadn't worked with John previously, had you?
Yeah, I got an audition. I had heard they're doing a movie. Friends of mine, Brian Grazer and Ron Howard, two very talented people. We like their movies, right? And I done a show called Parenthood for Brian Grazer and Ron Howard. Good movie. Okay TV show the first time they tried it. Didn't quite work. But then they did it again, and it lasted many years. The TV show Parenthood, in its second incarnation, was very good. I don't think it was my fault the first one didn't work, but something went wrong. It was fine, but it just wasn't great. The movie was great, and the TV show was great. And this movie, for my money, was just great. I was thoroughly enjoying every moment, especially there was a lot of gags, you know, spoken gags, good dialogue. Oh, who knows who was playing the director in the booth, who was directing this? Who knows who that was? Anybody out there?
He was in Parenthood.
It was Lowell Gans, one of the writers. Babalu Mandel and Lowell Gans who write League of Their Own, and they wrote Splash. They wrote a million great movies in the 80s and 90s, and that was another one. That was Lowell Gans, one of the two writers of the script Greedy.
And who knows what role director John Lynn played in the film?
Butler.
Yep, there we go. The butler. Yeah, if you didn't know, he's a great actor, isn't he? John Lynn.
He's very good as a butler.
Very fun.
Everybody was good. That woman, Siobhan, I've seen her many things since. She was wonderful as a drunken cousin. How about Phil Hartman? Can we give it up for Phil Hartman? He deserves a standing ovation.
You might remember him from...
He was so funny just with his deadpan stuff, and when they would go with that, you know, they constructed a special table where they were banging his head on the table. And it was a prop, special effects made table, if you will. Had a, it was basically, he was being hit, his head was being hit on a pillow, basically. But it was made to look like wood, like the table. The rest of the table was a real table, so that people would jump up on it. It clearly wasn't just a bed or something. Didn't look spongy, but the one area about the size of a head or a little bit bigger, where he was told that, they were told to hit his head there, and they did it. It looked fantastic. The special effects, the Foley guy did his sound thing of like thunk, thunk, thunk. Just so many sight guys. They think it's over, and then they go again, leave on the guy again. Just funny stuff. I was laughing out loud all the times I was supposed to in this movie. I was and I don't do that. I'm like, oh, I'm in a movie. How wonderful am I? I'll sit there like myself, Phil Hartman or Easter Island, and just sit there, holy shit, what am I in? But not this one. This was very funny, I think, for my money.
It was. The room was laughing out loud and rolling.
Everybody was laughing in all the right places.
Great.
Good audience, by the way. Thank you.
Give yourself some applause.
keep going away endlessly. Let's see if they have questions, right?
Yeah, raise your hand. Anybody have any questions?
Got a question? Thank you for that, because I can't hear a thing. I'm so deaf these days.
I can't talk very loud either. We were talking about that scene with Phil Hartman and the fight between him and Michael J. Fox. How hard was that to watch and not break up laughing during the takes?
To not break up, you're saying?
Yeah, like
Oh,
laughing.
totally. I mean, I should get a medal for some of the times, in this movie I had to do it. In other movies, anybody seen the movie called Best in Show? Okay, I'm there across from Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara at the desk. They're doing all that they're doing, and I get to just stand there as a hotel manager. It was the same with this, with Jerry Burns and Phil Hartman and Bob Balaban and Siobhan, that wonderful woman who's playing. I'm sorry about that, I'll turn that off. That's probably my wife going, where the hell are you? I drove to Santa Ana, forgive me. I have the ringer off, but it's probably bleeding out of my hearing aids. We turned the phone all the way off, locked it off. I'm sorry for that guy. But yeah, she was wonderful, that woman. We've seen her in many movies since Greedy. Siobhan is her name. I can't remember her last name, but she's very, very good. Joyce Heiser, wonderful. And did anybody recognize or know that a very young Kirsten Dunst was in that movie? She was a taller, yes, big hand for her. She was very good in it too. As a young kid, she was about 11 then or something like it. Everybody, including Kirk Douglas, went, this girl is going to be a star. She had like 2 lines of that. When we shot it, I don't know if any of yeah, she had a line or 2 in this, I think, in this cut of the movie, the final cut. But she clearly had something going on. She went in to do Interview with a Vampire, and then she did, and then she did Spider-Man, and has a movie out now, Civil War. Wonderful actress, wonderful young lady. I've known her since she was young. I've had the good fortune of having great, talented people play my children. Thora Birch played my daughter once. Leonardo DiCaprio played my nephew. The Parenthood, the show was talking about Parenthood. Leonardo was in that. These talented young people get to be talented working actors and grown-ups, and it's great to watch. And Kirsten's just one example. Who's got another question out there?
Let's go down the row. You mentioned working with Christopher Guest on those Best in Show, and I know you're Stumpy, the original drummer for Spinal Tap. Any chance you're going to be in the Spinal Tap sequel coming up?
The new movie, now all I'll say about that is this. First of all, we know I'm deceased. We know I die in the bizarre guarding accident. But I'll just say this, I've had to sign an NDA recently about certain movies I'm in or not in.
Nice.
That's all I'll say about that. Unfortunately, what happens, maybe people arise from the dead, we don't know about that.
Thank you.
I'm not crying tears of sorrow, tears of laughter from that damn movie. I gotta call Jonathan Lynn tomorrow and tell him how well it played and how funny it is. Great director, great guy.
Hi, I have a question. So I was in college, this came out right before college, and my friends and I watched this movie religiously. And it still kind of stumps me this movie didn't become bigger than it was. It got mixed reviews, and now it's a movie most people haven't seen. And I'm wondering if you have any insight as to why this movie wasn't more successful. I mean, I brought my kids. I mean, this is a movie that we watched, and it's now spanning generations, but it didn't catch fire like a lot of comedies from the 90s. I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on why this hasn't carried on the way some comedies from the era did.
I sat there in that seat a few rows back, posing that same question repeatedly. I went, why wasn't this movie a success? These are as funny as any jokes in any comedy that I saw in the 90s and in the 2000s, the 2010s. I mean, it's a very funny movie. Funny dialogue, incredibly funny, incredibly well done sight gags. Jonathan Lynn is known for that. Nuns on the Run, My Cousin Vinny, My Biological Clock is Ticking. Knows how to set up and execute a sight gag wonderfully. As good as you'll see in any movie. I mean, really, look around at people doing physical comedy, and that movie we just saw, for my money, has 20 great physical comedy moments. Just great, really screen-worthy. And I have no idea, I was thinking that repeatedly, why didn't this do well? I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. It's a mystery. Thank you all for coming out and sticking around for this, by the way, everybody. Thank you.
Hi, I'm just curious, you've done a lot of work in, since this, I think the 70s is when Spinal Tap, or 80s,
What is your favorite movie that you've done?
I want to be honest with that. I've had a couple of favorites, if you will. Chris Guest, Best in Show is probably my favorite movie that I've been in that I have a substantial part of. Thank you. She-Devil, though, to work with Meryl Streep. Come on. There's nobody greater. And I thought that movie was very funny. It didn't do very well either, but that was a funny movie. And working with Meryl Streep was probably the high point of my life. Just love that woman. She's incredible. Best in Show, but also two other movies one in which I have the smallest 15 seconds kind of apart, literally 15 seconds or less, and that is the great movie called This Is Spinal Tap. So that's the favorite movie of mine, of course. Not for what I do, and I do a little bit in it, but it's a great movie and holds up very well. Another great movie that I'm in, have a slightly bigger part. I play the head of the CIA in a great movie with Peter Falk and Alan Arkin called The In-Laws. Anybody seen The In-Laws? Another great comedy movie. For my money, I saw it about a year ago or less. For some reason, I know what the reason was. Paul Reiser. Anybody like Paul Reiser besides me? Great guy. He worked with Peter Falk in a movie, playing his son. And he was asked to do the Malibu Film Festival in Malibu, California. And he, unlike anybody who's been asked to do the Malibu Film Festival, the rules are you're supposed to show a movie that you're in, then talk about it afterwards. He went, no, I'm not going to do that. I love Peter Falk. I got to show a movie I'm not in called The In-Laws with Peter Falk and Alan Arkin. And he showed it. I hadn't seen it since it came out in 1978. It is still hysterically funny. Great stuff. I mean, think about it. Peter Falk and Alan Arkin doing this comedy, but playing it like it's Ibsen, playing it like it's Strindberg. They're playing it totally straight, and it makes it all the funnier. They're not, ha, going for the laughs. Just hysterically funny. And great side gags in that, too. Serpentine. Peter Falk said, we're absolutely not doing that. I know it's in the script, and I agree to it, but that's the most ridiculous thing. Serpentine. First of all, it's not funny, and two, and Alan Arkin said this, I tell you what, shoot the scene. If it isn't funny when they cut it together, we'll take it out and I'll give you $100. And Peter Falk said, that seems like a good idea to me. Let's try to do that. He won the $100. He never had to pay the $100, of course. But it's one of the funny movies in movies from the 70s. One of the funny scenes in movies from the 70s. Very funny stuff. Was I crying thinking about Peter Falk? Maybe. He was a great guy. He had the same birthday, September 16th, a few years apart. He was maybe 15, 20 years my senior, but what a great guy. We became very good friends. And thank you. What about Dabney Coleman, the loss of Dabney? A couple of weeks now. I love that man. He was such a good friend to me and such a great comic actor. Like I was just saying, never play the thing, for laughs, ha, this is funny. Played it like he was doing some incredibly intense drama, and it was brilliantly funny. Buffalo Bill, Slap Maxwell, 9 to 5, on Golden Pond. Big hand in remembrance of Dabney Coleman, would you please? Who else has got a question, a comment, a query, or something? And if not, we can go all home. We'll do one more, okay? Is that okay?
Well, I just want to say I've loved this movie since I was about 12. This movie is a hilarious movie from beginning to end. And my question for you is, do you have any great memories of working with Kirk Douglas?
Wait, say that again?
Do you have any great memories of working with Kirk Douglas?
I'm going so deaf. So many.
Kirk Douglas?
Do you have any great memories of working with Kirk Douglas?
Please forgive me. You're being clear as a bell. My hearing aids are giving me trouble.
No worries.
Kirk Douglas. This is a guy. Okay, I'm 74. So when we did this in '93, I was at that point like 43, almost 44 years old. He was a guy that was in the Vikings. He was in Paths of Glory. He was in, all these big movies. A big movie star. And to work with a guy like that was just incredible. I knew him a little bit before that from his sons. I knew his sons, his son Michael still. And to work with him, so generous, so sweet, invited me over to the house all the time. Ed, come look, I got a Prius. I want you to see how it works. He and his wife got a Prius. They're so proud of it because they knew But I used to ride my bike to the set often in Northridge. I live in Studio City. To Northridge is a nice, probably about maybe 14-mile ride or something. Maybe, yeah, I think about 14 miles to Northridge. And I did it, and Kirk was very impressed with that, riding my bike to the set. We became very good friends, and I stayed in touch with him and his lovely widow. You know, still talk to Michael, talk to his son occasionally. To work with him was just like a dream. You know, working with a big star like that. I also got to know and be friends with, and never worked with him, but Marlon Brando. And so the stars from that era were just like legends. They were bigger than life, you know. We saw them in these big movies and these big screens, and when you just see them from a distance as a young kid, I was like, oh my God, there's Marlon Brando, there's Kirk Douglas. But when you meet them, they're totally normal, sweet, wonderful people that had tremendous kindness and class and grace. And he was nice to everybody in the set, Kirk was, and I thought did a wonderful job too. A big hand for Kirk Douglas. Do we have time for one more? Can we do one more?
Yes, besides 12 Angry Men, what was one of your favorite movies of your dad's?
That's a very good question. My dad, for those of you who don't know, if there's an Ed Begley Jr., there's certainly an Ed Begley Sr., who's otherwise known just Ed Begley, a great actor, and he won an Academy Award for Sweet Bird of Youth. He was in a movie called 12 Angry Men, though. And can we have a hand for that movie? A great, great script. It was done as a play first, I believe, and then a teleplay. Then they did it as a movie, all in one room. And what a powerful movie. My dad as juror number 10 was just frightening, the character that he played, but wonderful. I had no idea my dad was such a good actor, you know, when he was alive. I went, well, he does what he does, but I like, you know, this actor or that. But he was such a wonderful actor. I would say 12 Angry Men was my favorite movie, but a close second is a movie I want everybody to try to find. It's called Patterns. It was done as a teleplay, it was done as a movie, with Richard Kiley starring in it and Ezra Stone. My father's in it, and Patterns is something, and I know there's a lot of aficionados out there who are applauding at all the right moments for the wonderful classic films we saw that they show here. This wonderful theater, the Frida Theater. Can we have a hand for this great theater? I love the movies that they're showing. I had no idea about it. I've been to Santa Ana to film. I did a movie here called Buddy Buddy, a Billy Wilder movie. The great director Billy Wilder did a Walter Matthau, Jack Lemmon movie that was not a success, sadly. It was funny, but it wasn't as funny as this movie, I'm sorry. But, you know, it doesn't always work. You don't always hit them out of the park. But this is a great town. I'm happy to be here. Mr. Chavez, thank you so much. I know Cesar Chavez. He was a dear friend of mine. It's a great name, a great family. And thank you, pal, for asking me to be here and for all that you're doing, you know, for film and classic films. And I'm just grateful to be here. And you drew a very nice crowd, too. Thank you all.
Thank you for being here. Before we leave, you have a book.
Oh, thank you. I totally forgot. Did I bring it up here?
Yes, it's right there. Titled To the Temple of Tranquility and Step on It!
Well, you know anybody likes to read, sorry. You know anybody likes to read books, and hopefully humorous books, people seem to find it amusing. The great Vince Gilligan just read it and wrote me the most wonderful email about the book, how much he liked it. Vince Gilligan from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. He's truly a great writer. So people are liking the book a lot. It's a comedy and a lot of great Hollywood stories about the actors I just talked about and many others. So check it out or buy it on Kindle, you know, Audible or something, and enjoy it. And I certainly enjoyed my time with you all. I love Santa Ana, and I'll be back to see some of the wonderful movies you're showing and showcasing here. Thank you so much.
Everybody.